Thank you. I was just telling Jacinta that I don't know why I got that profile. But I suspect Betty. See you. Okay, sure. I am that later. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Peter, as it has been said. My school is Corvinus University of Budapest. Can we say that together? Corvinus University of Budapest. Or if you want to say it in Hungarian, you say Budapesti Corvinus Egyetem. Can we try that? We can say it one by one. Budapesti Corvinus Egyetem. Yeah, you can realize that in Hungarian, we do not say Corvinus. They pronounce every syllable. So we say Corvinus. So at least you learn one Hungarian word today. So I left Kenya last year. I still remember the date. It was 7th of September. I can remember how it was at the airport. Friends, families, people had come to see me leave the airport. It was amazing. It was incredible. There is this former CS called Alfred Mutua. He used to make this joke that watu wanasemanga pesa ni mbaya, lakini acha ipitie kwako. You see, the people say that home is the best, and I do agree home is the best. Lakini tembea nje pia kidogo. Si ndio? So being out for the very first time has taught me a lot of things. Growing up, I used to learn about summer and winter. I used to see snow on TV. So when winter came, I went out, nikashika snow hivi. Nikasema, kumbe kitu hivi ndio iko. Because I used to see them on TV, but now for the very first time, I was seeing these things. And for the very first time, I was experiencing what life away from home was. But again, it has not been like a straight road. There have been challenges and there have been opportunities. One of the greatest lessons that I've seen I've been able to learn is about time management. And once again, I'm a Kenyan. When they say we come at 9:40 or at 9:43, you ask yourself whether it's supposed to be 9:30 or 10. So I remember my very first day in class. They said class starts at 9 a.m. I think I arrived there at around 9:07. Everybody's in class. Mimi ndo naingia na bag yangu and I go and sit down. But I didn't change. As William told us that if you take 15 years to learn an habit, it doesn't change in one single day. So I remember our very first day that we were going to the church. Europeans have this behavior of sticking to the time frame that they have agreed upon. So at times they have church time frame of about 1 hour. So the church starts from 9 a.m. till 10 a.m. Mimi na mbogi yangu ya Kenya, we get there at around 9:35. Speaker anamaliza kuongea. So we have to sit outside and follow the speaking from outside. And therefore we learned that time is of the greatest essence. Because when you respect other people and you get to the venue at the right time, it communicates a lot of respect. So I'd love to share just a few lessons with you, and I'll start by a fact. I went to the University of Nairobi. Yes, I really did. You see, the University of Nairobi, when you go there, you don't go there to learn. You are called there because you have studied. How many went to the University of Nairobi? Clap for them. Yes, you are called there because you have studied. You don't go there to study. So when you're in the University of Nairobi, it doesn't matter where you have come from. It doesn't matter whether you went to a village school or whether you went to a national school. What matters is that you have passed and you have gotten the entry grade to be there. So that means that when I was in the university doing my bachelor's, I didn't have a moment that I faced discrimination. Because everybody has passed, and finally we're at the university. How about when you get to a place where everybody is so different from you? How does that affect you? So I remember at times when we used to introduce ourselves, and you raise your hand and you say, my name is Peter, and I'm from Kenya. The people look at you and they're like, Kenya? Okay, tell us more. So then you have to explain where Kenya is. And many people actually confuse Kenya. Actually, they do not know that Africa is divided into countries. They think that Africa is one country. So when you start telling them that Kenya, you have to explain what Kenya is. Or when the lecturer goes to class and asks a question, for example, mention one big multinational company. If I asked you that question, what answer would you give? Let's get some few answers. Coca-Cola, McKinsey, Microsoft, DHL. There's one that I had, but somebody is not saying it. Yes? There's a Kenyan company, very famous. Somebody is not saying it. Safaricom. That is what I used to say. So I'd raise my hand, I'm like, yes, Safaricom. They'd be like, what's that? So then you have to explain what Safaricom is. Because the people you're dealing with are not used to the name Safaricom. But folks, there is one great lesson that I've come to learn. That we must own up our story and we must not apologize for it. You see, all of us have different stories. We have where we come from, we have what defines us as a people. And therefore we have to stand up for what we believe is true. I remember there is a lesson that we were having. It was a finance lesson. So we were talking about different finance innovations across Africa, rather across the world. And when that question is asked, what comes to your mind? Yet another question. If I asked you, what are some of the greatest finance-related or payment system-related innovations across the world? What would you say? M-Pesa. Thank you. M-Pesa. But what happens if your class doesn't know about M-Pesa? Do you keep quiet and don't talk about M-Pesa? You have to stand up for them. Everybody uses M-Pesa, from the richest people to Mama Mboga to Boda Boda guys. Because it defines us. And that is what M-Pesa means to us. But when you get out here, you realize that people have a skewed thought about our innovations. They have a skewed thought and a biased thought about what we can do and what Africans can do. And you will hear them talking about things that are like money laundering related to M-Pesa. I mean, every system has money laundering. And money laundering is not the only thing that can define M-Pesa. M-Pesa has had impact to our country and even to other countries across Eastern Africa. And therefore, when such things rise up, we have to stand up for innovations. We have to stand up for who we are. You see, Oprah Winfrey says that owning up your story is one of the most powerful things that you can ever do. It says, I matter, and how I got here really matters. The second thing that I have learned over the past year that I've been away is that deeper connections are built when people feel seen, valued, and recognized. And yet again, I'll tell you a short story. A while ago, I was watching a show by Oprah Winfrey, and she was talking about this event that she had organized, and Beyonce was one of the people that was attending. So Beyonce comes, does the presentation, finishes the presentation, then comes to her in the backstage, gives her the microphone, and Beyonce asks Oprah that, how did I do it? How was it? Did you see me? Did you feel me? Did you hear me? Across the divide, this is the same question that everyone is asking. Can you see me? Everyone who came here today, when they went back to sit, they were like, how did I do it? Did you hear anything? Did I communicate? And therefore, I've come to learn that this is the best way that you can use to connect to a person. And I will reflect on an experience that I had when I was there. I have a classmate, his name is Zongo. A little bit taller than I am. He's Hungarian. So on our very first class, when I introduced myself and I said, my name is Peter and I am Kenyan. Whenever we are going to an event, whenever we are going to meet people, learn something very personal about them and remind them about that specific thing. And I'll also tell you about a friend of mine. His name Lachi. He's also Hungarian. And for a very long time, he's my neighbor and we live in the same dormitory. I used to see this guy, but we didn't used to talk a little bit. At first, I assumed this guy must be very mean, with the way he used to look at me. This guy is very mean. Then one day, it was a very long day for me, so I was very tired at the end of the day. Then I go to cook. Then he comes to the kitchen. I'm like, why is this guy coming to the kitchen? Come on, I'm just trying to cook and eat and go and sleep. He's coming to disturb me. Then he comes closer, he looks at me, and he tells me, no offense, but Peter, you look very tired. I looked at him, and I was like, indeed I was very tired. But nobody had told me I was tired the entire day. So for the very first time, I saw something very positive about this guy. And at that moment, I felt seen and recognized. And I was like, I told him, you see, dude, indeed, I'm very tired. And thank you for recognizing that I'm tired. So from that moment, we became friends. And I came to learn about something that this famous writer called Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie really talks about, the danger of a single story. Make it your personal responsibility to know people and to be interested to know every part of them, and do not make your bias out of a single story that you have heard. Days later, Lachi knocked at my door, and he came and told me that, Peter, I have an interview coming up for a job, and I was hoping if you could do for me an interview prep. And I looked at him and I was like, why would this guy come to my room and ask for an interview prep? So he comes in, I allow him to come in, and he gives me the presentation that he had made, and we go through it together. And after it, he appreciates what I did to him. And recently, I was just checking up on him, and he told me, "Hey, I got the job, and now I'm working as a consultant." So he has now become a good friend out of a bias that I wasn't able to stick to. So make it your personal responsibility to know people for who truly they are and not just make a bias out of a single story. You see, back here in Kenya before I traveled, I used to teach little kids in Sunday school in church. And I had a kid there. I won't disclose her name. Maybe one day she might be listening here, maybe on YouTube. So this little girl, she was ages 8. And I recognized something about her that was a little bit unusual compared to the other kids. Whenever kids used to make noise, she would tell them to keep quiet. I was like, wow, this is very impressive. So she caught my attention. So when I was traveling and I was living in Kenya, the mom asked for my number and was like, "Hey, when you're over there, could I call you at times just for my daughter to talk to you?" I was like, "That's fine." So we kept communicating for a very long time. So when I was coming back, I called and I asked the mother to put her through. And I asked her, "What would you love me to bring for you when I'm coming home?" And she was like, "I'd love a teddy bear." So I got her a teddy bear and I brought it home. So the day that I gave her, she was very happy. And the mom wrote me a very long text in the evening. And I read the text and I almost shed tears. The text said that my daughter was rejected by her biological father when she was born. And for a very long time, she struggled to feel loved. But today, she looked to have felt love for the very first time. And she has made a house for the teddy bear in our house. So thank you for being a little light in her life. Once again, I didn't know the story of this girl. I didn't know anything about her. So basically, I was just being a good human being. But that small act of kindness had gone far than I've ever imagined. Deeper connections are built when people feel seen, valued, and recognized. Back in Budapest, I also teach Sunday school. And there is a little girl I teach, and I won't tell her name again. Whenever I come to class, the very first question I always ask them is, "How are you guys doing and how is your week at school?" And at times, if I'm not the lead teacher, if I am assisting in teaching that day, I sit with them, next to them, and I try to understand how the week was. So this little girl comes to me and tells me, "Teacher, you're my best teacher." But I ask her, "Why? I've just been here for a few months." Then she's like, "Teacher, you see, kids in school call me nigger." And I look at her. She's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. She's Latino, brown, with dark hair. And I'm like, if they call her nigger, what would they call me? I mean, what would they call you? Maybe you guys will be niggers in capital. Yeah, I look at her and I'm like, so I tell her, "Do you need a hug?" So I hug her and we have a conversation. And I realized that what she wanted was not even somebody to solve her problems, to stop people from calling her nigger or whatever, but she just wanted to feel heard. She wanted somebody she can talk to. So once again, I implore us, wherever we are, it doesn't matter which place you are. It doesn't matter whether you're in Kenya, whether you're in your workplace. What people are looking out here for is to feel seen and heard. It is the greatest, I think, of the human needs. that the human beings want. So back to what I was talking about, standing up for who you are and about your story. I remember a day that I was presenting in class. Our class is fully international. I think about more than 70% international. So we had this group of Chinese ladies sitting at the back, and after my presentation, one of them, called Hubin walks to me, and she's like, "Hey, I loved your presentation." And I'm like, "Oh, what did you love about it?" And she was like, "I loved how confidently you shared your story." And she's like, "Can we form a group? Can we have a group of you and my Chinese colleagues?" So that's how I get myself as the only African in a group of 5 Chinese people. So we form a group, and we were doing this course called quantitative methods. So as part of the requirement for that course, we need to write a research paper at the end of the semester. And so the Chinese people are actually people who really work so hard. I don't know if you've worked with them. The people who work long nights, they work so hard until they're able to achieve whatever they want. So we decided with them that this research paper that we were doing, we just did not want to do it just as a submission to class, but we wanted to present something very authentic, something that was more than what the teacher wanted. So we set in and we do a wonderful work, and we write something on sustainability. So at the end of the semester, I remember I told Betty here last year, when he thought that I would not be here for this conference this year, that I will come back. I was saying that, but I did not know how I was going to come back, because you see the fare can be very expensive. So I see a call for papers for a certain conference. It was at the United Nations here at Giri in Nairobi. So this conference wanted papers around sustainability. Then I remember that we had worked on a paper around the same subject. So confidently, I submit the abstract of that paper. And a few months later, it gets accepted with full sponsorship. So that is how I managed to attend the conference. And thank you. That's how I managed to attend the conference and did a presentation of that paper, and perhaps why I am also here today. So once again, be bold. Do not fear sharing your story and speaking about where you've come from or who you are. So finally, ladies and gentlemen, what I have come to learn is that people are people. And joy is joy, kindness is kindness everywhere. It doesn't matter where you are. So therefore, these shared experiences remind us to keep our minds open. We must be intentional in confronting our bias, building real connections across different divides. But to truly move forward, we must also be armed with unwavering faith and hope. And as Barack Obama always says, that hope is not sitting there and waiting for things to get better. That is not hope. That is not faith. It is rolling up our sleeves, it is doing what we can, and believing that things can get better and things can work if we are willing to put in the work that is required. So therefore, let us choose faith over fear, let us choose action over apathy, and let us choose hope over despair. Thank you.